I can't see a trade down happening. I'm with you. I think it could be a Halliburton. Maybe they go up and get Kyra there. Vassell, I think, is a viable option. Are you guys? Is it point guard or bust with this pick at 8?
It should just be draft a good player. Like, yeah. I don't see this as the Knicks suck. Like, it's not like there's like a bunch of guys on this team that you're like, oh, we can't, like, we don't need this thing. We need everything. Okay. We need shooting. Man. We need defense. We need we need everything. We need competence. General competence is another thing we need. Like, we don't need to be like this idea that we have to draft a point guard has got to be one of the dumbest things that anybody could keep repeating. The Knicks need a scoring point. They need a scoring shooting guard. They need to score. Like, they need everything. They need
somebody that can score.
Yeah. So, like, it's just a stupid thing. Just take the best player you think fits. Like, for me, if I'm just sitting there at 8 in this draft, I'm not worried about upside. I'm trying to get a guy that I can put into my program and get value on his rookie deal and can play basketball. And, like, if Vassell is there, I'm just taking him because he's gonna help. He's gonna force you to play RJ at the 3, which is great.
Yeah.
He can shoot the 3. He's a great team defender. Just take somebody who can play, especially in this draft, because this is not a draft that's like, you got like 15 guys out there with superstar potential. Like, it's not. So just relax. Don't be the Knicks for a few days. Like, it'll be fine. Just take somebody who can play and can produce immediately, because I don't want to draft another one of these projects. And then, like, a year into it, everybody's like, why isn't he good yet? He's not producing.
Yeah.
This guy sucks. Like, just get Vassell in here. He'll hit threes. He'll play defense. He'll make RJ play the 3. Those are all things that are good. And then let's move on and tank for Cade Cunningham.
That was amazing.
The chat is feeling the rant by the strip.
Kyra is an awesome fit for what the team not only needs, but he's like, I would take him before Cole. He like, going back to the whole elite trait thing, if you have someone with an elite skill that can amplify other things, you take it. Kyra has the speed. He's like that running back who plants one time and he's in the paint, but his passing, his vision's not very good, but that doesn't matter when you can make every pass that you want someone to make. But Kyra getting into the paint with RJ, just like you need athletes around him, guys who can actually collapse the paint and open up potential shots for potential shooters. And he can do that. Cole can't do that, though. He's a better movement shooter and whatnot. Vassell, he's not doing that. He's a good fit. He's going to be a good impact player. But at the same time, like, it's too safe of a pick, I guess. And, like, it's a good pick.
I need upside, man. I need upside. I understand what he's saying with the safe. I would take Vassell. We need defense as well, of course. And we need the 3-point shooting. I would take it.
All of the point guards that Tom Thibodeau has coached, he shares so many of the same strengths. So you have a coach in place that, one, Kyra is talented enough to be taken there. So let's not just say it's a reach. But you also have a coach who can get the most out of him and use his skills, hone his skills. And with the way that the NBA is and all of the space that you eventually ideally want on this floor, I mean, he's going to be able to get wherever he wants. So I agree. I think Kyra's awesome, and I think he's a guy that whatever kind of combine situation happens or doesn't, I think he's going to be a riser and a guy that eventually starts getting like consistent talk in that top 10.
He's apparently been talked about in the 8 to 14 range, or like 8 to 20. I think it was 8 to 20 as of back in March or February. I forgot when I heard that, but that's what it was then. You got to think that it's probably only gone up since because they've watched more film on him, and like he's good. He's not just some guy who's just okay. Like, he's good. He has elite skills, and he's still super young, like really, really young.
I'll give you. I think that no matter who we pick at that spot this year, the Knicks are probably just going to be a bad team. And I think, and I would have said that about like anybody we pick at any spot this year.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about like, is the guy going to make us better this year? I just want somebody who like can play. Really, like that's what I want. Can this guy come in and play? And the reason I worry about a point guard just for the Knicks is like, I think the thing with the point guard, and we've seen this so much, is we have not shown the patience organizationally. And obviously this is a new organization or a new front office, so maybe it's totally different, but we haven't shown the patience organizationally that a young point guard needs. And like point guards tend to struggle earlier in their careers. as a point of order. Like it's hard to be responsible not just for yourself, but like everybody else on the team, and like making sure RJ gets his touches and making sure Randall doesn't dribble into 15 guys at once, and like all these different things that he'll have to deal with. And I just worry about that element of it. And like, are we going to bring in a vet? And if we bring in the vet, is Tom Thibodeau going to be like, you know what I mean? Like, is he going to play the vet over him? And then what happens? Is Frank get lost in the shuffle? What happens to this guy? What happens to that guy? I just worry about that part of it. I'm like very big on the idea of if you don't think anybody is like a superstar, and I don't think any of these guys are particularly have huge star potential. I'm sure we can debate that with Kyra. I just am like more into what is your realistic fit going forward on a team? What is your ceiling in that? And like, I just like guys like Vassell and Patrick Williams a lot because I think they force us to play in a way that I like. Like, I think if you draft Patrick Williams, you're almost definitely going to have to play him at the 4. And just the idea of him at the 4, I like that idea of him and Mitch at the 4. Are they going to be good next year? Hell no, definitely not. But I just like building towards that idea. And like, Vassell isn't a guy that's going to make you so much better immediately, but he's a player who I think he helps put your team into like a certain alignment that I like. Mm-hmm. And I like that he plays next to RJ in a way that I think RJ needs a wing to play next to him in a way. I like the idea of a Vassell next to RJ just for the same reasons. Actually, I liked Mikal Bridges when they drafted Knox. Like, I think sometimes
Mikal was much better than Vassell is. People like, I'm not saying you're doing that, but I've seen people throw around the comparison. Not only was Mikal a much better movement shooter, he was a better team defender, I think, and his wingspan, like 5 inches is a lot. Like, he has a 7'2" wingspan, and Vassell's is 6'9".
I'm talking a lot more just specifically about like the idea of that player, because it's like not.
Oh yeah.
That like that type of 3-and-D player is not like something that, and I understand it's not something when you're thinking like, oh, we have a lottery pick this year. You're not like, hope we can come out with a 3-and-D guy, but like, we say that, but then you watch these other teams and Knicks fans will do this all day. They'll be like, oh, like, why can't we just have guys that like shoot threes and like can switch on defense? And it's like, you said, like, at some point you have to actually show that you value these things. And like, I just feel like the Knicks always, at least historically, have always ended up either like, it just feels like they don't have the patience to develop these projects. Yeah. And if that's the case, like, just don't take a project then. Just
you need a guy who can step in and play. CP, me and you have talked about this forever. I can't pay any, I can't go down there anymore and watch these Knicks. A guy's got to be able to come in and play. I don't want to see another Kevin Knox. And this is where Rose is going to have to demonstrate, we need to get our Spider Mitchell out of this draft. You know what I'm saying? You got to go get a player that maybe you guys aren't rating very high, but that the professional scouts think can play. I really hope whether we package someone together to get someone who can step in and play, or the scouting department finds someone from Europe, or finds a kid who maybe isn't, as rated high by the prognosticators as everybody else. We need someone who can step in and play.
I feel you, man. I think I'm gonna go with Kira. A guy I feel like I know his passing isn't what it's all up to be, but the speed, like Spencer said, is Ferrari-like speed. I feel like his passing got better as time went on too. I seen him make some really crazy, like, live action one-handed passes on the nose to like the guy sitting at 3-point line. So I'm hoping that maybe he can gain some more of that point guard awareness as time goes on, and Tom Thibodeau can coach him up on that side of the ball. And we'll just go from there, because to me, with the point guards we have, I just want to pretty much clear house, man. Like
I agree. Like, I think it all depends on what is their goal for next season. Like, I don't think there's anything they can really do that's going to make them some high quality team. No. But like, are they okay with like drafting Akira and dealing with the fact that he might struggle? Like I said, like young point guards struggle initially. That happens all the time. Like, are they okay with that possibility and, letting him take his lumps and riding through that guy? Like, I actually do think Kira, like, I mean, I know it's weird because I was just saying, like, what if he struggles to begin with? But like, he is a super fast point guard. He did play 2 years in college, full years in college, and he's younger than Cole Anthony. He's got really good shooting metrics. he's like, as Spencer touched on before, his speed has unlocked his ability to hit whip passes to corner shooters and things like that. Like, there's things there that you can look at and be like, this kid might have more upside, even immediate upside, than we're letting on. Because one thing we know is that oftentimes when these guys that come in and immediately exceed expectations are just like these kind of like these athletes that they get into like an NBA floor where there's more space, and all of a sudden, like, they're able to do things at a higher level than you expected.
Yeah,
like Mitchell benefited from that a lot too.
Absolutely.
So I do think like there's an argument if that's what you're looking for, Kira might be your best upside play at that spot.
But watching him play, watching him get into the paint with such ease at Alabama, then realizing just how much more space the floor is in the NBA and how much more like just how faster the game is. Like, if he, obviously I'm not saying he's going to do as well as he did last year in the NBA in his first year. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that this idea that he's a long project, that, not saying, anyone on here has said, but like, I've seen it's like he can come in, he has 3 fast break opportunities a game. Say he makes all 3 of them or 4 of them, he makes 3 of them. That's 6 points right there. You're telling me he can't get at least another 8 points in the half court across the other 4 quarters?
Look, Kyra, we're talking about his speed and his ability, to use that extra space. He's a guy who could pull it off the bounce too. Like, he's a guy who can knock down shots. And you look at, like Spencer mentioned, watching guys in the bubble, you look at Dame and you look at CJ and you look at these guys who having that threat off the bounce behind the 3-point line, outside of the fact that he's ablaze and he can get to the hoop probably if he didn't have the shot, that extra shot, and you don't know if he's going to pull it or get to the hoop, he is going to be a dynamite scorer. And I agree, he's going to be able to get to that 13, 14 points a game if he's given the role that I think that he'll be able to kind of take next year. Just with his skills, I think he's just super underrated as a skills guy. I think people look at him because he's fast and think that that's what he is, but he's got more to his bag than just speed.
I think
it'd be a good dynamic, and Tibbs has certainly been on record as saying that's what he values. Someone that can get in the paint, collapse the defense, get us some easy corner threes. And, listen, if it's going to take some time to develop him into, your prototypical point guard in that fashion, then it is what it is, man. As Swinny said, if 2021 is the focus, this could just be, a transitional pick.